Hey guys, this is Anthony, Super Duty Service. I got this truck, the Excursion is still in. Still had oil pressure issue. Oil pressure and lack thereof. Truck started, truck ran fine. I didn't drive it. You know, that could have been, it could have died when I tried to drive it and actually call for some. Most I did was 1500 RPMs. So I took it down. I took it down yesterday. It was popping out of the intake. So I yanked both sides and made sure the valve train was okay. I still haven't bent a push rod or broke a rocker arm after install. These are all good. The popping I was hearing after feeling the resistance on the lifters was actually the lifters didn't have enough oil to prime up. They were still loose. The spring, you know, the spring loaded tension on them, that's oil pressure, hydraulic tension on them. And there wasn't any on some of them, a couple of them. So, I mean, actually I ran it a little bit more and the popping actually subsided. It's almost non-existent now. So I had a couple of issues. So I wanted to check the expansion, the plugs on the tappet galleys, on the oil galleys. So I yanked the high pressure pump so I could get down to the backside. And I wanted to make sure the plugs were still in there. This engine came from the machine shop, and I don't service those plugs. I don't change them. They get in, they stay in, they're done. But, you know, I was like, well, maybe if they took one of them out or something, you know, I mean, if they took all of them out, it just really didn't make sense, because then we would be losing so much pressure the truck wouldn't start. So I could see them on the back, so they're in. I'm not even gonna, haven't yanked the front yet, haven't yanked the pump, because, you know, it's pumping enough oil to feed the high pressure oil system. Just not enough oil to feed high pressure oil and to feed enough pressure. I'm getting about, well, I mean, at idle, I might be getting 3 pounds, you know, and then at like 1500, it bumps up and I get about 17, 18 pounds. So it's like absolutely low. I didn't want to send it out, and I didn't want to drive it like that. I wanted just trying to diag. So the course of attack, once I saw the freeze plugs in, and you know, obviously I air tested it too with the reman pump. Let me walk around here. This is a Ford reman pump, because this was an 04, so we put a late model pump in it. So I went ahead and yanked it, made sure the yellow O-ring on the bottom wasn't dripping down, and I did notice on the last one that when we opened it, that the oil filter was dry. So whether or not this is the problem or not, I went ahead and yanked the whole oil cooler. I'm gonna put my gauge on here. I just did a little preemptive real quick gauge last night, just to see what I got. I mean, it's, you know, tells us baseline. I mean, just a little bit. You know, I was getting like 12 pounds, and then you could ramp it up and get 17 to 20 pounds. So I went on down and I went to check the oil cooler bypass valve right here, and the anti-drain back valve. The oil filter drain is fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's actually, we put a new one in and got an overall kit. So here's a good one. This is out of, I got all kinds of crap laying around, so I got plenty of parts. See this one right here? This is kind of what you want to see. I mean, yeah, there's grooving on it, but I mean, it's a regulator. It's just a mechanical regulator. As long as the rubber's in good shape. Same with this one. This one doesn't come out because it's locked in. You have to pull the push pin off to get it out. But this is there. As you can see it, it's all wet. It's all shiny. Look at that. It's ripped. So the bummer about that is, you know, we're not getting oil pressure. I don't know if that does explain it. Obviously, I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to put it back on, and I'm going to crank the engine without anything on it, and I'm going to see what kind of pressures I get. I'll put the filter back on. I've got Mark, Robin Hood, HHC diesel made. I have the turbo block off plug, so I can just block the plug off for the turbo, so the oil flow will stop there. Put the oil filter back on and test the pressure while we're cranking. You know, before I go putting everything back together, that way we can at least see, you know, I mean, I want to get to shoot, I want to be about 6, 7, maybe 8 pounds of pressure cranking is what I want to see out of it. So my gauge really isn't too fine. You know, I've got another gauge over there that goes up to 30 pounds. I might put that gauge on it to test this to see if I can get, because I need a gauge that doesn't go to 100 pounds. So I'll put a gauge that goes to 30 pounds, and it's much more detailed, so I can see if I get 6 pounds on it. And then I'll wait a little bit, pull oil filter, make sure it's dry. But this is not something we service right here. This is actually bolted down. Let me show you where it's at. It's bolted down right here with the T27s. That goes, oh, sorry, that goes there, and that goes down in there, and it bolts down in seats right there with 2 T27s. It bolts down into the oil cooler adapter. See, it bolted right here with the T27 here and the T27 here. So, you know, I don't ever take them apart, because in order to service this part right here, you have to buy the entire adapter. So, luckily I have some here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a different one in it. Throw this one in it. That's still in good shape. That one's still in good shape. So I'm going to throw that in. Obviously theirs was destroyed, trashed. So we'll throw it in, and I mean, bare minimum, it'll keep the filter wet. I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, there's a chance, because behind the filter, the drain back, the oil cooler bypass valve is the feed. See, it's connected underneath here into this channel going down, and that's the oil pump. So all the passage goes up through under the bottom of there. So when it does, it's I mean, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if that's contributing, if that's the low pressure issue. But yep, there we go. We'll go ahead and put this back together. I'll throw another video later. Have a good day, guys.